all around, especially in tongue. Love and peace. Let's say thanks to the...
Welcome back inside the Now Morning Show. The TTPS joins us on now in the form of Inspector Michelle Lewis. Good morning to you, Inspector.
Good morning to both of you. Good morning, Trinidad and Tobago. It's always a pleasure to be here. And
How are you doing this morning, Inspector?
I am well. Let me take this opportunity to wish yesterday being Mother's Day, Mother's Day greeting to all the mothers of Trinidad and Tobago who continue to love and nurture.
And a happy belated Mother's Day to you.
Oh yes, thank you very much. Thank you.
And who is upstairs is wishing you a special Mother's Day. I don't know why, but he's wishing you a special
And
Mother's
I appreciate all the greetings, so thank you so much.
You're definitely welcome. So this morning we're talking about the strat plan that the TTPS has, particular focus on one of the pillars in the strat plan, which is community service, and community outreach. Which one is it?
Community partnership.
Partnership, that is it.
So it's community partnership with the police. Actually, Saturday we had the police sports. The 102nd sports meet, annual sports meet, which was quite a success. This year we had the fire service drum major and the band, and there was a nice partnership between the two bands just before the retreat.
Okay.
So that was really, really nice. The sports this year was really, really wonderful. And so the theme actually coming out of the police sports was strengthening communities through sports, which is in keeping with that key pillar of our strategic plan 2025-2027. And we've seen a lot of things happen within the organization as the year started. And so we had the state of emergency, then we had the parliamentary election. And so now at this time, the executive is rolling out the strategic plan for the 3-year period 2025 to 2027. And so every year we have the operational plan, and that is something that tweaks yearly depending on how the atmosphere is, how the climate is, the projection and that kind of thing. So we are seeing our first priority, first key pillar is community partnership. And community partnership, not just through sports as we saw on Saturday, but through all sorts of engagement to ensure that that level of public trust and confidence is increased. We know we have a challenge with that, so that is key on our agenda. Partnering with the young people, partnering with the community, because we would have seen even through the SOE that a lot of information we got in relation to retrieval of firearms and that kind of thing came from the community, came from persons who called in, whether it was anonymously or otherwise through a trusted informant, and share that information with the TTPS. So community partnership is critical to the success and the safety of our country. When we look at our theme for the strategic plan, which is for passion, professionalism, and partnership. And so the future, the safety of our future rests on the passion of the police officers, our level of professionalism, and that partnership with the community.
I feel like I need a breakdown of passion, because passion could go one or two ways.
Passion in relation to your enthusiasm for what you do, and passion in terms of when you come to work, you have that drive, that energy. You know, someone's report or someone has an incident and you run with it, as we say in the police service. A passion to see it through as quick as possible with the highest level of integrity and professionalism, that the person who is suffering or who is the victim feels your passion and your interest and your desire to help and solve the situation and to get redress.
Nice.
When we speak passion, that is what we're referring to.
Inspector, one of the things you would have mentioned prior to the, let's say, the 3 Ps, because it sort of rolls off the tongue very well.
Yes.
One of the things that you would have mentioned would have been that there is the concern or the issue of public perception when it comes to the TTPS. How is this going to be approached, or what is the way forward in the strat plan to be able to, let's say, start to soften that image and bring community actively into the rollout?
There are several areas that the strat plan looks at. It looks at what we consider down-to-earth, one-on-one interaction with members of the community. In community station councils, through that, through walkabouts within the community, of course, engaging young people. One of the ways that works really, really well with engaging young people is through sports. It's one of the positive things within the service and outside as well that really gets the attention of young people. And so the TTPS, through community police, through police youth clubs, will be increasing our sporting activities where young people are concerned, but also where the more mature persons in the community are concerned, that walkabout and that one-on-one communication and engagement in terms of conversation and station council and that kind of thing, so that you have that relationship and that level of trust being rebuilt between both parties.
I think, Inspector, one of the concerns that we always have is what happens after the sports, right? Because I saw up to just this weekend, there was a young man in Maloney who was a part of a sports team. He was active in the sports team, and he was still in an unfortunate circumstance where he got shot based on just the community or whatever else was happening in the community, whether he was involved or not. How do we safeguard against that? Because we could encourage them to play as much sports as possible, but when they go back home, they still have certain dangers and certain threats that exist. How do we change that so they feel safe enough to even go back home?
Yes, so the sporting is one aspect of it. The police youth clubs give a support mechanism to parents and to the household to have that connection and closer relationship with a police who has a real mentorship role within that child's life to guide the child. And then, of course, you also have the police station, the officers within the station districts. Now, it is important that parents, we're not taking anything away from the parent and the role of the parent and what they do, because the child, as they say, come back into that same environment. So it's critical that the home in itself is a safe one for the child. And so the police will put that support for you in ensuring that that atmosphere outside is safer for the child. So we will increase, one of our pillars is community engagement, but that's not all the pillars that we have. We also have public safety, and there is where you talk about the community and gang violence and activities that can penetrate a community and affect both persons who are not involved in criminal activity as well as bystanders. What we have recognized is that persons unfortunately become body bags to persons who are involved in gang activities and socialize outside. And you may not be aware that one of the persons that around you is a gang member or involved in criminal activity. And so, unfortunately, sometimes these things do happen where persons actually become victim to offenses and they really were not part of any of the incident that actually happened. Sadly, it does happen in our country. But as I said, public safety is also one of our priority, and that includes increased patrols, both foot and mobile, and of course, that community engagement within the communities.
Okay. Inspector, this is a very hands-on approach from what we're hearing thus far. So when this rollout is implemented, does that mean that there are going to be, you said, increased patrols? So is there actually going to be increased manpower? Does this mean that we're going to have more police being called out, special reserve police being called out as well?
We're actually training regular police as well as special reserve. If I am correct, I think we intake of about 200 special reserves. And we started with that last week, Saturday, with some of the, for them to go into training, because they would have done quite a couple of the prerequisites already. And as you know, we always have about 2 batches inside training because we've had 2 passing out for the year already. So that is ongoing. Of course, because police officers reach the age of retirement, that is also a factor that we take into consideration. So sometimes when these police officers come, it's almost as if it's just an augment of the officers who would have left for whatever reason. Okay. Right? But the police continue to take in both regular and special reserve police.
Do we have an idea of what the count is now in the police service? Approximately?
Approximately, we have about 10,000 that includes both special reserve and regular. We have about 7,000 regular. Out of that is about 3,000 women and about 2,000 something, about 3,000 special reserve officers. And when we say special reserve, we don't mean that they're working like 4 hours a day. We mean that they're working like 8 hours a day and working within the division, section, branches of the service, of the police service, given full
So what's the difference between special reserve police and regular police?
So regular police, the training, it's more robust, more intense. The requirement to enter is higher. Okay. And so within the regular policing, the structures are there. It's a supplement as all law enforcement agency have. We have supplements. So the defense has supplemental, the fire has supplemental, and the TTPS has supplemental in the form of special reserve. So it's persons who may have another job and they come in at 4 hours on a Friday evening or whenever the police need that extra patrol to come in, and that's how the supplemental really was established, to give that extra when it is required.
Yeah.
Okay.
That should become a special reserve police.
I started thinking,
Yes, you can. So of course, it is open, I think up to 60, age 60.
Okay,
So
I was just about to
I'm
ask.
sure you don't want me as a special reserve.
Well, I don't want to answer on public TV.
See, but I know, it's all right. I already know. I too bad behave for that. I don't have the discipline required.
But yeah, so throughout Trinidad and Tobago, we are going to be rolling out the strategic plan for this period, and we started it last year. And we just want to sensitize the public and even the officers that this is our plan, this is ours to own, and this is ours to deliver on. And so as we move month to month, with all that is taking place in the country, we would see a more operational policing throughout the TTPS and throughout Trinidad and Tobago.
We definitely look forward to it.
Yeah, excellent. Well, Inspector, thank you so much for joining us.
Always a pleasure to be here.
We'll see you next week, Monday.
That's good.
God's willing.
Right. Inspector Michelle Lewis from the TTPS here with us this morning, speaking about community partnerships and so much more. Stay tuned. There's more coming up after this break.
And what?
All around, especially in town.